Here I am.
Whoa. I found myself staring in awe at the young girl as she approached us, locks glistening in alluring gold, skin white as freshly fallen snow. She felt like a being out of this world, her beauty transcendent. In her right hand she was holding what were those called again? It looked a lot like one of those thingamajigs I spotted downtown. The something pad? A Klingle? A portable mini-computer, basically. Her most striking feature was her pair of glimmering white wings, almost like an angel's. Actually, scratch the almost part. This looked like the real deal. She surveyed us with a frigid gaze. She was certainly not a foe, but friend? Of that I wasn't quite certain.
Ta-da! How do you say her name? Raziel?
Raziel.
Raziel. It's Raziel, the winged beauty and the sexy thigh-highs.
I'm a beauty?
Raziel posed her question to Lilith, her tone reflecting no particular interest.
Well, I guess it sounded right in my head.
Lilith had it spot on, though Raziel was strikingly beautiful. She looked at us, head cocked to the side. And that's when I noticed that Raziel wasn't indifferent or frigid. She was simply spacing out.
I see. I'm a beauty. Putting that aside, though, I've received authorization for a purge.
Gotcha. Whenever you're ready.
Alright, everyone except for Setsuna, please stand back.
We all stepped back, with only Setsuna still holding Ethel's body, remaining at Raziel's side.
And a 1, and a 2.
Raziel grabbed hold of the very air around her, then pulled. And just like that, the entire thing, road included, came off with a creak. What the? She gave the impossible to describe object a light touch. Guided by Raziel, it gently landed on the ground like a fallen leaf carried by the breeze. Through the hole left by the removed object, we could see the open skies. Setsuna lightly kicked himself into the air, leaping over to the outside of the world.
I'm gonna get closer. Hang on tight.
Okay. We followed Setsuna inside the opening as anxiety made my heart race like a locomotive. And then I saw it. I laid eyes upon the outside of the world. Holy moly. That silly little phrase was all I could muster in my sheer amazement. I knew the ocean would be vast, I really did, but as soon as I beheld the massive body of water stretching out endlessly before my eyes, I couldn't even spot as much as a tiny speck of an island in the distance. I felt completely and thoroughly overwhelmed. Limitless skies and boundless ocean. Those were the only things left in this world. The sky took on an eerie orange hue, resembling the hours of dusk, and although the ocean below reflected the light, its waves rolled about with a certain sinister blackness to them. I casually looked sideways. This time I was left speechless, forgetting even to breathe. How to phrase it? It was almost like a photo of the Tokyo Tower, red and white with a design many would consider to be a touch out of style. Yet standing in close proximity to its towering enormity would still instill a fierce impression, leaving the spectator overwhelmed and in awe. A colossal structure far beyond what my senses could possibly conceive. True, I was standing on the outside. At the very same time, though, I could very much perceive myself still being inside the structure.
This is Tokyo Babel. Took your breath away, huh?
Well, duh. It certainly did. In fact, I considered dispatching a search team just to locate my jaw on the floor.
Well, then, Raziel, could you watch over her for a while?
And with that, Lilith handed me over to Raziel, who grabbed me by the nape like she was handling a kitty cat. Honestly, it was kinda scary. Lilith and Setsuna stood on the outer walls of Tokyo Babel, their bodies slanting diagonally, mostly because the wall itself was slanting as well.
I'm dropping her in.
As Setsuna signaled to Lilith in a dispassionate tone, the latter stepped closer to Gethel's body, caressing her hair. Hints of pity and compassion swam across her features in turbulent waves.
Farewell. We part now for an eternity, never to meet again.
Farewell.
Farewell. Would you like to say something too?
Setsuna turned to face me, his words dispelling the fear gnawing at my heart. I looked down at the lifeless body of my former sister, her features peaceful in slumber like death. I had no memories of my past any longer. They were all gone without a trace, leaving nothing but vague concepts in their wake. Christina. Goodbye. Well, this kinda doesn't feel like a goodbye at all, but I'm sorry. The tears came without warning, much to my own surprise. After all, this was the very same girl who plotted to murder me. And if Setsuna hadn't come to my aid when he did, Gethel would have carried through with that plan without a shred of doubt. Yet her death still made me feel a bit sad. A sense of some loss prickling my heart like a tiny needle. Setsuna let go of Gethel without uttering another word. Her body plummeted through the air in slow motion, heading slowly but surely towards the waves below. The law of inertia, on the other hand, propelled us ever onward. It seemed like the whole of Tokyo Babel was on its way somewhere. The soaring purgatory drifted farther and farther from Gethel's falling body, until I had completely lost sight of her.
By the name of Lilith, Witch of the Night, I hereby declare Ginza, the first stratum of Tokyo Babel, liberated.
Liberation of first stratum, Ginza, confirmed. Good job, guys.
Raziel casually slipped an oddly colloquial phrase into her report.
You don't need to force yourself to speak like that, you know.
I see. By the way, I have a question.
Raziel's gaze drifted into my direction. I immediately straightened myself in reflex.
Oh, well, Setsuna is one thing, but you've never actually met her, right?
Right.
Raziel nodded, her fingers dancing on the surface of her tablet to check up on something. She then made me press a finger against its screen, never once letting her gaze leave my face. Raziel innocently cocked her head to the side, producing the sort of expression that would kindle a fire most peculiar and indescribable in one's chest. I could call it cuteness, or a certain natural charm. Well, something along those lines either way.
She's not in the database.
Yeah, I'd say we can probably blame Gethel for that one.
And I'd say you're probably right, though I'm not exactly sure myself. Either way, I agreed with her assessment.
So, your name, please?
My name? It's... hailed up. My name was Kugutsu Sorami. Was it really, though? I mean, surely I had a proper name and a life to call my own. But the way I was now, I had nothing left. Nothing at all. Jot it down as Kugutsu Sorami. Thanks.
Kugutsu Sorami.
And maybe if you could add temporary next to it, that'd be swell. You know, in case I ever remember my real name.
Temporary. Done.
You sure about this, Sorami? Raziel won't be able to make any revisions in the future unless it's an emergency.
You kidding me? Well, if you can just call me Sorami, I'm fine with it.
Got it. Sorami, temporary.
Erase that last part.
More like Sorami Templololri.
You did that on purpose. You totally did.
Raziel, I believe you would prefer to be called Sorami.
Understood. Well then, Kugutsu Sorami, allow me to officially welcome you and to offer my sympathies.
Your sympathies? Huh. Well, I guess I did go through hell. A total slaughterhouse. Just thinking about it was making me feel depressed.
Well then, back to campus, huh? We gotta rest up and start brainstorming about what to do with the second stratum.
Campus?
Yep. The final frontier of hope for the people of Tokyo Babel. We call it Pandora.
Pandora? From Greek mythology?
Yeah. A place to contain all evils and all hope. Ironic, isn't it?
Lilith's tone softened to a whisper.
If we're going, I would suggest the clock tower. It's the closest to where we are now.
Okie dokie. Let's go.
Lilith took a firm hold of my hand, and a moment later we were up amongst the clouds. I had yet to fully shake off the fear, but I managed to pull myself together, just enough to admire the scenery below. I couldn't help but wonder, where did the illusion end and reality begin?
Take a good look at the scenery here. You won't get another chance.
You mean Ginza?
Yes. We won't be seeing it again.
The drifting scenery below us was a mere shadow of its former self, yet it stood as palpable proof that people once lived here. I wasn't sad enough to be moved to tears, but the scenery still filled me with a hollow melancholy. I let the feeling sink in as I held on to Lilith's hand, the wind brushing against my cheeks as we soared onwards. Where would this road lead me? Would something await me at its conclusion? I had no idea. Not anymore. My thoughts were occupied with one thing only. Hey, Setsuna!
Yes?
The wind grew in intensity, practically howling in my ears. Still, I raised my voice just enough to overpower it. I forgot to tell you something!
You did?
Yup. I wanted to thank you for saving me. Setsuna appeared somewhat surprised.
Whoa, wait a second, Sorami. Are you just going to ignore me? I mean, really?
Huh? Oh, right. Thanks.
Ugh, a sack of potatoes has more emotion than that.
I mean it! I'm thankful, I really am.
Your apologies accepted. Foolish mortal.
Well, I would say you're pretty late in trying to impress her with that tone.
shut up! It's the mood that matters. The mood!
As conversation kept us busy, our trip to the clock tower felt a lot shorter than it actually was. This place is supposed to be a school?
Nope, not at all. It's just that we're a tad restricted in terms of where we can enter or exit. Setsuna, would you be so kind? I kinda have my hands full with Sorami over here.
If we were to enter the school through the first stratum's clock tower, you should set the hour hand to 1, the minute hand to 9, and the second hand to 3.
Setsuna nodded, then proceeded to follow Raziel's instructions in setting the clock tower's huge clock towery hands in the required positions. And just like that, the clock's massive faceplate opened with the heavy, emphatic sound of a railway coupler sliding free.
We're going in.
Lilith leapt into the clock tower without bothering to wait for my response. It was pitch black inside. I tilted my head, but couldn't even make out the entrance I had just come through. All I could see was darkness in every direction. Then all of a sudden, I sensed Lilith descending, felt the air pressure shift, but that was all. I began to question my own vision, unable to tell if I had my eyes open or closed. That is, until I came upon a bright, luminescent spot. Was this how babies felt in their moments before birth? Or were they too busy shivering in fear at the thought of emerging into the cold, harsh reality to mind anything else? The world appeared to have come to a halt in temporary stasis, though it might have all been in slow motion. Eventually, I felt Lilith abruptly decelerating. Seconds later, I found myself in a confined, somewhat old-fashioned room covered with linoleum flooring. In most schools, this would be like the night guard's office, or the caretaker's room. Either way, this room gave off that kind of atmosphere. Or rather, that was precisely what it looked like.
We have a bathroom and a fridge packed with food. Feel free to grab anything you want in case you get hungry. There's also hot water in that pot if you're in the mood for cup ramen.
Really? Can I really just take anything I want?
Sure. I mean, it's our room.
I'll be outside. Might want to get changed.
Setsuna left the room without waiting for an answer. I, had nothing to change into, though.
Here you go, Sorami. This one's yours.
The piece of clothing she handed over was something I'd been intimately familiar with. Strikingly yellow in hue with black lines and a zipper. In short, I was staring at a tracksuit.
I'll take the blue one.
Here you go. I called dibs on the red one, though.
They seem fixated on their preferred colors. Well, I would have been fine with anything, really. Still, if I had to choose from these three, I would have easily picked the yellow one. All I needed was a katana for the picture-perfect image. I slipped out of my school uniform and into the tracksuit. Having just done that, I was already feeling lighter.
Raziel, could you wash these?
Sure thing.
Raziel took Lilith's clothes with a nod, then directed her gaze at me.
Your uniform, please?
Are you sure? Raziel responded with only another nod, prompting me to hand over my uniform.
I'll be on my way, then.
Raziel then left the room. In her stead, Setsuna entered. Lilith filled a pair of teacups she had finished out from the cupboard with tea, then offered them to me and Setsuna.
Drink up, drink up.
Thank you very much. I blew on the tea a bit, then promptly took a few sips, allowing the warmth of the hot, bittersweet liquid to sluggishly travel down my throat and into my stomach. I exhaled a sigh of relief, finally having realized just how uneasy I had been up until this point.
Calm down a bit?
Yeah. Lilith sat down with teacup in hand, making herself comfortable on a cushion while flashing a cheeky smile.
Okie dokie. Well then, guess it's time for us to have a little chat, right? To convey and comprehend, to learn and understand. We'll talk of the world, its downfall, and all the people who still live to see it.
And with that, Lilith, the Witch of the Night, set about telling a tale that would open my eyes to the truth of this world. An otherworldly account to rival the Arabian Nights. A nightmarish legend in the vein of the Revelations. A tale about Tokyo Babel, the soaring fortress that feared no god or man. She spoke of their own kind, angels and demons writhing under the eye of God, and of mortal men, fated to bear his terrible trials. She went on and on, weaving the story into form.
I was left alone in the midst of the raging flames. Sitting, waiting with no direction, nor any concept of what I should be doing. What was I waiting for? End the world? Or beginning of something new? The former was pointless, as the war had long since ended. The skier would never start again, either rendering the latter similarly futile. I knew that, all too well. The torrent of flames raining down from the heavens scorched all to cinders. Among them were nuclear missiles launched by the world's major superpowers, metallic chunks of planes destroyed through terrorist attacks, and considerable amount of toxic waste that showered the Earth as a result. Biological armaments, weapons of mass destruction, seeds sown by human hatred and mortal pride. Flora and fauna perished alike. All that men had once built crumbled to ashes around them, melting into oblivion, wrought of fire and death. There I was, gazing at it all. The bleeding corpses of the elderly, charred remains of the young, a lump of rotting flesh that once was a newborn babe, scattered entrails belonging to his mother, and that marriage seemed birthed by my own deeds and intentions. I calmly observed as all around me was come to decay. The world itself was on the way to complete ruination. I shed no tears, felt no grief, nothing to lament, no pain to embrace. All that remained within me was a realization of transience, the ephemerality of life. No matter how much time passed, the violet flames refused to die down. There was no one left to put them down. Lilith?
Okay, so I was just checking. Okay. Hey, you still alive? Yes, you, sitting there by your lonesome. Sorry to interrupt your brooding, but I got a question that needs answering.
Two young girls appeared before me. One of them dark as midnight, the other whiter than snow, a demon and an angel. Who are you?
Doesn't matter. What does matter is that you listen well to what I'm about to ask and give a thoughtful answer. It's a big question, you see. Are you planning to die here?
What else is there to do?
You don't have to die, you know.
True, but nothing else left to do. The girl whispered in my ear.
Here's the deal then. Suppose I gave you something to do in another world. How would you respond to that?
Another world?
Exactly. One that looks nothing like this one. A new, different world.
And what would you have me do?
Save the world. So, how's that for motivation?
I do not need motivation. If such an act aids humanity, I will spare no expense in accomplishing it. That's all there is to it.
Even if I end up using you till you're broken beyond repair?
It matters little to me, and no need of free will. The girl's soft laughter echoed faintly in the air. Her smile appeared ominous, yet not without a certain warmth to it. Or it may have been the exact opposite of that.
I see. In that case, come with me and I'll make sure to work you to the bone before casting you aside. What's your name, by the way? You even have one.
Some background noise from someone. Oh, by the way, you're not talking. Try to keep yourself muted. My thoughts could have been racing through my mind as I heard her say that. I couldn't quite pinpoint a feeling. Not then, not now. I've been happy to a point of naivety. It could have been a blend of belief and guilt, knowing that I would survive where others died. Or perhaps I was simply beyond caring. My name? The name is Setsuna. Tendo Setsuna.
And I'm the Witch of the Night, Lilith. My friend over here is...
Raziel, the Keeper of God's Secrets. Pleasure meeting you.
Come, take my hand. I'll show you a world where more terrifying than the depths of hell, more dazzling than the light of heaven. Tokyo Babel awaits you, soaring in the rift between the earth and the heavens.
Tokyo Babel? Is that?
You're coming with us.
So I was saved from a world on the brink of annihilation. All for a single purpose. You claim the layers of Tokyo Babel from the respective masters. You open the gates of heaven. The world went black without warning. I found myself on the verge of drowning, water rapidly filling my lungs. Cold spread throughout my body. this chill inviting fear into my heart. Lilith, maybe?
Okay. Worry not. You're still you, right?
The voice echoed in my head like a divine revelation. I am...
Is this me too?
Oh, just go for it.
Okay. Your life belongs to you, and you alone. We had certain reasons to rely on your help a little bit. Yet... it is an incident soon to be forgotten, and lost in the rift of time. It does not concern you one bit.
Who are you? She didn't respond.
In any event, I bid you farewell.
Words faded, along with the vision of my past. I started my life anew at Pandora.
So, I really don't get that. Actually, I don't get anything about this whole deal.
Sorami was visibly puzzled.
Like I said, the world is in ruins. Heaven's all barricaded up, and let's just say hell is sleeping with the fishes. So we hitched a ride aboard the god of good old SS Purgatory, Tokyo Babel.
I get that you're trying to make it sound simple, but I think you've only made it harder to understand.
What am I supposed to do now?
I decided to speak up. At this rate, there's no telling when the two would stop. I'd like to first explain the concept of parallel worlds. May I?
Absolutely. Floor is yours, Professor Setsuna.
Sorami gave me a quick bow. Her form left a lot to be desired, but I could nonetheless sense an insatiable lust for knowledge. Sort of. Very well, let's first examine what worlds are.
Gosh dang, that sounds kinda complicated, Teach. Is this gonna be philosophy or astronomy?
Trust me, it is quite simple.
Are you sure?
She glared at me with a gaze full of biting suspicion. Remember what I said, though, it truly was simple. Are you aware of the concept of so-called parallel worlds?
Oh, sure I am. They're like, you know, the worlds we'd get if this or that what-if scenario happened, right?
Well, if she understood that much, we ought to be fine. Precisely. Imagine a situation where person A will live or die with a 50-50 chance. A moment like that gives birth to two separate worlds, one where they survived, one where they did not. A world in which A lived, one where A died. While the two worlds were the same at this point, they ceased to be identical. This leads to a gradual rise in the number of parallel worlds. Nonetheless, history lends a bit of flexibility to the process. For example, you invented a telephone in your world, Sorami.
Bell, I think. What was his full name again? I recall it being kind of fancy-like. Graham Bell.
Suppose that Bell never invented a telephone, or that he was beaten to the patent by Alicia Gray.
So, you're saying the general flow of history wouldn't change? That regardless of who actually ends up inventing the telephone, the events that follow remain the same?
I nodded. Pleased that she was quick on the uptake. Reproducibility is one way to put it. The history of Earth, of mankind, follows a certain standard, preventing his flow from being altered by trivial details. As a result, most parallel worlds are absorbed by the original the moment they are born. Otherwise, alternate universe is where it kept cropping up infinitely. I wasn't sure whether or not there was an upper limit to their numbers, but having an infinite amount of parallel worlds can possibly bode well. That said, man's fickle choices and natural caprice can occasionally yield terrifying results.
Really? How so?
Took a few moments to think, and presented an appropriate example out of a textbook. If I am not mistaken, the Berlin Wall was torn down in 1989, an event that sparked the unification of East and West Germany. Is this correct? After a few moments of thinking, Sorami gave a hesitant nod. It must have been summoned either from the world, serving as a basis for history or at the very least, a parallel world very close to it. In one alternate universe, the government spokesman for West Germany, Gunter Torobowski, did not make a mistake. That alone was able to alter the course of history.
What?
Sorami blinked at me in surprise. The wall's destruction originally stemmed from a mistake he had made. The government wanted to impose laxer travel regulations for those wanting to immigrate, except for the Berlin Wall. However, since Schabowski was absent from the meeting, he mistakenly believed that the new regulations would also include the wall. Sorami stared at me, mouth agape. During a press conference, he consequently announced that the wall could freely be crossed. This new regulation would be effective immediately, causing a nationwide uproar. In the chaos that followed, citizens flooded to the wall in droves, much to the surprise of the station border guards. Soon enough, the situation escalated to a near breaking point. The wall was opened and eventually torn down.
Wow, I can't believe something like that was the cause.
Most of the history books of your world contain the same information. In any event, in this particular parallel world, Schabowski possesses full knowledge of the regulations' particulars and announced them correctly during the press conference. As a result, the wall never crumbled, and Germany was never unified. The need for democratization was high, but in that world, the overlapping of various conditions led to an expansion of the Eastern Bloc's influence. This led to war between the Soviet Union and the United States, resulting in a clash of socialism, capitalism, culminating in an outbreak of World War III.
So, just because that what's-his-face didn't make a mistake, the entire world changed?
At the very least, this action lowered the probability of a new world war breaking out. In the case, the sheer volume of this chain reactory series of changes caused the world to become a complete separate parallel universe. So we end up with two worlds. One that suffered devastating damage through World War III, another where the war was avoided. Capitalism prevailed. However, this also resulted in the appearance of a new type of threat: terrorism. These two worlds have become completely separate entities. Many such divergent points exist in history. For example, the failed terrorist assassination attempt on the Pope. Had he shot earlier chosen a different firing angle, he would have succeeded. Also, another event fated to bring about change in the world. Minuscule change, just over 1,000 years, gave birth to countless different parallel worlds.
Can you give a few examples?
Worlds where ghosts were proven to exist, others where people with supernatural powers freely walked the earth. Some were destroyed by nuclear weaponry, others ended up ruled by animals. Turn to look at Lilith. Lilith and Raziel exist as supervisors, or rather as mere observers, to that enormous number of parallel worlds. Lilith nodded, skillfully continuing the conversation. She was far more knowledgeable on the issue compared to me. Two of us exchanged looks. It was her turn now.
You humans are truly an interesting lot, and I'm being serious here. In certain worlds, you manage to give birth to powers rivaling our own.
Like Setsuna's, for example?
Lilith fell silent upon hearing the words. I too stared at Sorami in silence. Sorami fidgeted awkwardly, seemingly conscious of my gaze.
Sorry, is it a touchy issue?
Not particularly. Actually, it may have been.
Setsuna's a bit different, you see. Let's just say he went through a lot and leave it at that, alright? I'm sure he'll share his life story with you eventually.
It wasn't exactly an everyday life story, though.
So, are you, like, really a demon, Lilith? And Raziel's an angel?
Natalie? Raziel.
Precisely.
Raziel abruptly stepped behind Sorami, gently whispering into her ear, much to Lilith's surprise and horror. Lilith observed from distance, laughing off the storm.
We angels are tasked with the supervision of all the newly created parallel worlds, while the demons handle all the people born to said worlds.
And we've been doing that for a couple thousand years now without any incident.
Until one fateful day, when everything changed for the worse.
What do you mean?
First off, all the prominent parallel worlds began showing signs of collapse. This wasn't due to human choices or nature's wrath. Worlds were simply falling to ruin one by one.
Worlds collapsed in rapid succession. Not through strife sown by mankind or catastrophes unleashed by nature itself, they were suddenly being devastated and doomed to vanish. Life in all creation came to an end on these worlds.
To add insult to the injury, the angels found themselves locked out of heaven, with its gates firmly shut.
With the exception of Michael, 3 of the 4 master angels said to be the closest to God's holy divinity ended up perishing in the midst of the ensuing chaos.
The 4 master angels? Let's see, there was Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and who was the 4th again?
Uriel. Sorami's eyes lit up with recognition.
Man, poor guy's always getting left out. Anyway, hell wasn't faring any better either. The frozen Lucifer, who used to inhabit its deepest lair, Cocytus? Is that how you say it?
I guess so.
Cocytus vanished without a trace.
You mean he was just gone?
Yep, gone. All of hell was in a state of turmoil. The resulting tip in the power balance nearly sparked a war on the deeper layers. And that's when the whole place flooded over.
Flooded over?
Yeah, I'd say it was probably the very same rain cloud that flooded the earth in ages past, nearly causing the extinction of mankind. So in the end, we came to refer to this entire situation as the divine calamity.
With heaven isolated from the world and hell submerged in water, there was only one thing left to do.
To overcome the crisis, the angels and demons decided to cooperate. First off, Michael restored Purgatory, the place once used to purge one of sins. You see, he used Purgatory to forge a brand new world, and that sort of thing doesn't exactly come cheap. Ultimately, Michael died soon after this.
So Purgatory was born anew as Tokyo Babel. In a world without heaven, hell, and even the earth, you might as well think of it as our very own Noah's Ark.
As all of this was happening, God relayed a message to us through a certain angel. The same words Michael delivered to us shortly before his death. Hear me, O seed of man, and embark upon a pilgrimage. Do as I have commanded, and your wishes shall be fulfilled.
Humans were the key to opening the gates of heaven. Angels could not do it. The same applied to demons as well, naturally.
Mortals must therefore embark upon a pilgrimage across the layers of Tokyo Babel, repenting for the 7 deadly sins. In the end, they would find the gates of heaven and open them.
The proposal came from the messenger, an angel commonly known as the Thunder of God. We've had no way of knowing whether or not she spoke the truth,
But we had no choice but to believe her. I mean, what else was there to do?
The humans become pilgrims of Tokyo Babel, find the gates leading to heaven and open it to restore the divine realm, then beg God for his pardon.
as a result, angels and demons alike journeyed across countless parallel worlds, all on the brink of ruin in order to find and enlist the help of powerful mortals.
Heroes and freaks, monsters and men alike, in short, every outstanding being from every possible world. We brought them here to Pandora and made them to be our so-called students. There's about
1億人
100 million of them.
100 million students? That's insane!
If we journey across all layers, from the 1st to the 7th, the gates of heaven will open, or so we've been told.
But you cannot open the gate.
It was more of an issue of no one ever having reached the top. At present, the farthest we've explored is the 4th stratum.
We've had tons of problems to face, but let's start with the first one. Not all of the students staying here at Pandora embark on their pilgrimages. In fact, I'd say the folk who merely wanted to escape from the harshness of reality were in the majority.
The summoned students continue on with their daily lives with a certain suspicion, and unease nestle in the back of their minds. And that suspicion ripened and blossomed into a solid conviction that there was something definitely not right with this world. The affected students could finally establish contact with the angels and demons. But the total amount of people out on pilgrimage, or planning to set it out, ultimately came to a mere 10,000.
The second issue, most of the students who left on a pilgrimage disappeared somewhere on Tokyo Babel, or they were killed.
There's a difference between murder and disappearance.
Well, if they merely vanished, there's still the possibility that they headed for heaven. A faint hope, but still. In the case of murder, it becomes evidently clear that we have a perpetrator on our hands.
Perpetrator. In other words, a sinner. After all, they eliminated all those who set out to have an audience with God, one by one.
We've come to label them as masters.
I don't know how or why, but they kinda lost a screw somewhere along the way and went all loony on us. And now they lord over Tokyo Babel as its self-proclaimed kings or queens.
The masters were men and women whose minds succumbed to madness near their respective pilgrimages. Angels, demons, and humans alike were among their numbers. It mattered little if the affected person was a selfless martyr or a God-fearing angel, or a demon absorbed in lust. All of them, without exception, had broken beyond repair, their minds warped, enveloped by pure bloodlust. The defenses had gone rogue, spiraling viciously out of control. The resulting chaos had thrown a colossal wrench in the angels and demons' plans of finding the gates of heaven through pilgrimages. The only option was to completely eradicate the masters. I too was apparently summoned here for that purpose.
Like Bethel, her mind too had broken.
And was she the one who brought me here?
Bethel most likely summoned you from this or that parallel world because, in her sadistic ways, she just wanted a plaything to torture.
Oh.
You did an awfully good job of it, fortunately. A weary smile left Sorami's lips, prompting me to speak up. Are you okay?
No, I don't really feel okay, I think. Guess I'm still affected by what happened with her.
Lilith suggested we change the subject.
Some of the people who became masters have actually invaded Pandora in the past.
Who became masters?
Your jaw's gonna hit the floor when you hear it.
Lilith shot a glance in Raziel's direction.
The Count of Saint Germain, a man of extraordinary skill and prowess. Then there was the Archangel Soundophon, who used to be a renowned commander of the angels. And finally, the Lord of Flies himself, the terrible and unmatched Beelzebub.
An angel, a demon, and a mortal man, each unparalleled in their own right. They too succumbed to madness during the pilgrimages. Till we lost them, many thought that having them on our side would make the journey towards heaven a cakewalk.
It's been 3 whole years since then. Countless humans, angels, and demons met their end in the ensuing bloodshed.
With only the 3 of them, they plotted to destroy all humans, angels, and demons. They found utmost joy in their carnage, mocking all those who stood up to them.
Raziel began visibly trembling, no doubt having remembered the horrors of that day.
Well, we did manage to beat him back somehow, but our victory came at the cost of many lives, and we had virtually lost the ability to send more humans on pilgrimages. And to help us through these dark times, I ended up summoning a certain young man. You guessed it, our very own Tendo Setsuna right there.
Huh, really?
I'm not exactly clear in the details either, but yes, Lilith is correct.
Truth is, I've only recently summoned him here, but damn, his powers surprise even me. Gethel may not have been able to utilize the sword's potential to its fullest, but still.
You think he would be able to beat the... Wait. Oh, that's her line?
Oh, sorry, yeah. To think he would be able to beat the Picante sword barehanded.
Lilith's voice sank to a whisper as she finished that sentence. Her surprise was not entirely unwarranted, and I was astonished by how I managed to exhibit such power, despite having never mastered the art of magical perception.
And I'd say that about sums it up. Oh wait, I forgot one thing.
Lilith leaned closer to Sorami's face, allowed him wince, her cheeks flushing bright red.
Oh.
Raziel reacted quickly, holding Sorami down. The knack for teamwork was a sight to behold.
Sorami, this is important. Whether you like it or not, you ended up inheriting Gethel's power.
Lilith gazed deep into Sorami's eyes.
Yeah, you're like really close.
This time, Raziel ended up whispering into her ear.
Gethel's eyes hold the power to reveal all that was once hidden. It could prove essential in helping us reach the gates of heaven. Probably.
An angel and a demon whispering in each ear. Couldn't help but find the situation odd, to say the least. Sorami glanced in my direction, her gaze silently screaming for help. I decided not to respond.
That being the case, you're basically our VIP now, so take real good care of yourself, alright?
Can I pass this power on to someone else? If I may be allowed to express my humble opinion on this grave matter, I'm sure there must be someone far more suitable for this than little old me. Also, hands off my skin! I'm a delicate flower.
Seriously? Technically it's possible, but it might also render you blind. You sure you want to become the next Satoshi? So...
Lilith leaned closer to Sorami with a beaming smile.
I'll do my best.
Sorami lifted her arms, her expression positively dejected. This must have been her way of admitting defeat. She adapted easily. That's my genuine first impression of her.
Well, I still have plenty of questions about this entire situation, but I think I got the gist of it. With that said, question time!
She abruptly pointed her index finger at us.
What exactly am I supposed to do? I mean, specifically.
Oh, I love it when my little lambs are so eager to learn.
And this little lamb is happy to hear you compliment her. Anyway, what do I do?
You have 2 primary tasks. The first is to embark on a pilgrimage across Tokyo Babel.
You have to conquer all strata from the 2nd one to the 7th. The staircase leading to heaven, Jacob's Ladder, should await you at the 7th stratum. Find that and open the gates of heaven. That's our first objective.
And here comes your second task. Each stratum should be ruled by its respective master. You are to eliminate them all. For Setsuna, this ought to be the main attraction.
I respond with a silent nod. Do not be easy targets. Well, someone had to do it.
Man, you're really something else, Setsuna. Well, I guess that was already plainly obvious during your fight with Gethel.
Indeed, I appear to have been summoned here for the sole purpose of defeating masters. It matters little if I'm facing humans, angels, or demons. Only if you could stand my way and live to tell the tale. Sorami mumbled below her breath, seemingly about to come to a certain realization. Then it happened.
Is it frozen for anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, now it's loading again.
Yeah, it froze for me too. Lenny, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
What do you guys see? What do you guys see right now?
Full screen.
I only see a
nothing.
black. Yeah, I see nothing. The black screen is loading, and nothing's coming out.
All I see
Intermission.
is the 3 Powerpuff Girls.
I mean,
So is the stream freezing the part where the chemical X comes into play?
Chemical X.
Dibs on bubbles.
oh,
Because he was too busy
Also-
listening to Funky Town.
Ah, classic mistake. Wait, does that mean you weren't actually risking life and limb to come to my aid?
Her suspicions were correct. It's not a knight on a white steed, but savage mercenary wielding a blade dyed deep crimson in the blood of his enemies.
You might not want to dwell on that too much, for your own sake, you know?
Lilith was grinning like a hyena. Sorami, on the other hand, looked utterly devastated.
God damn it! There go all my dreams! I wish I could remain blissfully ignorant.
Sorami began fidgeting about, visibly irritated. May have just given her a reason to be mad at me.
And Sorami, remember that you do possess Gethel's eyes. As such, I'd like you to detect anything potentially concealed during our pilgrimage across Tokyo Babel.
So, I'll just need to look at stuff?
Yes, with a little luck, we might actually find something, like perhaps a book. That would be all sorts of wonderful.
Was it just me, or did Raziel sound awfully selfish for an angel? Do you and the other angels not know what caused the divine calamity? Thought your duty was to supervise all worlds.
None of us know the cause. Well, at least none of the angels who still live. What's particularly vexing is that I have no memories of what happened around the calamity.
Oh? Raziel, you're an amnesiac?
There seems to be a gap in my memory relating to what occurred around the time the disaster struck. My first memory is being dragged along by Camael as we fled the destruction.
And I am assuming you have no memories of what could have caused your amnesia either. Raziel nodded.
I am, however, certain of one thing. that I have to keep searching for my book, no matter what.
Her tone was low and matter-of-fact.
Okay, so I'll try to make extra effort to find this book of yours.
I knew I could count on you, my dearest friend!
Overwhelmed with gratitude, Raziel held Sorami in a tight hug.
Oh, I'm dying, and there's something strange that popped out of my mouth just now.
The destructively tight hug may have been the more fitting expression.
Anyway, Sorami, before you go anywhere in Tokyo Babel, I'd like you to first take a look around Pandora.
Oh?
Sorami looked at Lilith, visibly puzzled.
Well, your eyes will react to anything unusual, pinpointing humans who have gained powers equaling that of an angel or a demon, so it doesn't hurt to check, you see.
Ultimately, we should check everyone, but there's just so many.
Will I really be able to pick up on something like that?
Guess you'll have to see things for yourself. Proof is in the pudding and all that jazz. Right, so how about we meet the Demon Lord, Astaroth, and the Archangel Camael. You'll get a feel for what us non-humans are like.
Lilith stood up, prompting Raziel, who was still busy silently fiddling with her tablet PC, to follow suit.
Huh?
Sorami simply stared at them in confusion, unable to grasp the situation. We stepped out into a hallway blanketed in complete silence. Sorami lifted a hand next to her ear, looking somewhat mystified.
All the classrooms are silent, but I'm hearing some chatter in the distance.
There's always a class in progress somewhere in this place, and similarly, there's always a recess elsewhere. There are some having lunch at one part of the school, while others enjoy their club activities in another.
Lilith slid a nearby classroom door open, reminding gazes of all the students inside.
See?
We are very sorry for interrupting your class. I hastily apologized and shut the door. That was awkward. Okay, Raziel, we'll wait.
Sorry about that. Where do we go, Lilith? Astaroth should be in the principal's office. As for Camael, we'll find him at the student council room.
Say, Setsuna, have you already met those two?
I have. Called them as men of... an angel and a demon of distinct characters.
Good. I'd feel bad for making Sorami decide, so... You tell me, Setsuna. Do we meet the angel or the demon?
Having just been given the freedom to choose, comes with silent contemplation. How would I proceed? I stop in front of the door to Pandora's student council room.
Alright, here we go. Camael? Door Camael? Are you there? I'm coming in.
Narfi,
Go right ahead.
I think you may have gone a little bit too far. Camael, take offense.
Cammy Poo, Caramel.
Have I not just told you to enter?
Setsuna? What kind of angel is Mr. Camael?
I turned to Sorami, who had been hiding behind me all this time.
Camael is a grand angel renowned for his combat prowess, who symbolizes the might of God. He leads the surviving angels of destruction and is responsible for keeping the whole of Pandora safe.
Raziel stepped in to provide an apt explanation of my steed.
Cammy Mammy.
I don't recall ever becoming your Virgin Mary, you buffoon. Have I been telling you for the past minute to enter?
Come on, Cammy Mammy. Let's make it to the Nationals together.
Damn, this has nothing to do with this.
The door flung open with a loud bang, revealing the irritated and bright red face of a young man staring daggers at Lilith. The angel Camael was known as the guardian spirit of Mars. Some most envisioned and depicted him wearing red armor in the fashion of his planet. Indeed, he seemed kind of reddish here too. Also taking on human form, an enormous sized body and no wings. He was maybe a touch more muscular than me, otherwise we appear to be roughly the same age.
How many times do I have to tell you to enter? I'm right here, so come in already. What's with this group? Wait, what's with this group? Is it suddenly tracksuit awareness month?
Camael looked thoroughly confused. You could hardly blame him either. He's the only one in our group is not wearing a tracksuit.
Tracksuits are all the rage these days, you know. Don't knock it till you rock it.
Be that as it may, this institution is still meant to be a school, so please wear your uniforms. You can switch to your beloved tracksuit when you go to sleep for all I care.
Yeah, whatevs. Anyway, we're coming in.
With Lilith at the front, we all step into the student council room, one by one. Massive table and a movable whiteboard. No doubt to be used for meetings, caught my eye upon entering. Having said that though, it never appeared to have seen much use at all. Still, keeping up with appearances served its purpose. It was unmistakably a school, be it the classes, the teachers, the student council, or the students. There existed an undeniable need for arranging things to reflect a human institution. The seal played a vital role in creating a desirable environment for the humans of Tokyo Babel.
Sorry, Camael. I should have stopped Lilith.
Damn it. Yes, you should have. I thought it was your job to keep that free-spirited witch under control. Anyway, what do you want?
Well, we don't actually have any business with you.
Huh?
Lilith grabbed Sorami, still hiding behind me, body shoulders, shoving her right in front of Camael.
Hello.
A human? Oh, she realized the truth about Tokyo Babel? And her eyes. I see she inherited Gethel's powers. The poor soul.
The took Camael mere seconds to grasp the entirety of our otherwise fairly complex situation.
Guess these eyes are more of a curse than a gift, huh?
Sorami was certainly not the type to shy away from taking action. With her smile on her lips, she promptly responded to Camael's assertion with a question of her own.
Not even us angels can know what fate awaits the mortals of Tokyo Babel. Either way, take the hand you've been dealt and make the most of it.
Anyway, Sorami, be a dear and take a good look at Camael.
I'm, looking at him.
Use those new eyes of yours to inspect him real closely.
How do I go about doing that?
Setsuna, if you would be so kind.
I nodded at Lilith, then proceeded to place both hands on Sorami's shoulders. Sorami strutted slightly on my touch as it whispered into her ear. Listen very closely. You must not rely solely on what your eyes can see. Be sure to also focus on scents, sounds, and every breath he takes. Tap into a power transcending mere sight to produce a comprehensive analysis of all these things.
Comprehensive analysis, you say?
Sorami focused her attention on Camael as allowed to display an expression of clear discomfort by allowing himself to be thoroughly inspected.
I think I've got it.
And a violet washed across her iris. Yet those eyes were at work, piercing through the very veil of reality.
Okay, I got it. He's the commander of the angels. A splendid angel, all in all. He wears crimson armor and wields a sword like no other. And, wings of steel?
A splendid angel. It's been far too long since anyone has addressed me as such. Why, I'm even shed a tear or two.
Need a bosom to cry on.
Lilith thrust her chest out, to which Camael responded with a frigid look and a shake of his head.
No thanks. As expected.
Hey! The Witch of the Night herself offered you her maidenly bosom. Even knowing it was a joke, there's no reason to refuse so plainly.
Well, you can't exactly blame me for being overly cautious. I can easily picture you conspiring with Belial to charge a rental fee or something equally ridiculous for that bosom of yours.
By the way, Belial was known as the Jurist of Hell, known primarily for having once filed a lawsuit against Jesus. Oh.
Did you just agree with him, Setsuna? Are you on his side now? Are you?
Lilith shifted her anger at me. Well, I mean, you are the Witch of the Night. I figure you change men like shoes. Lilith turned the other way, her cheeks flushed bright red.
Cherry girl.
Raziel? What did you just say?
This may surprise you, but despite having once lived as the wife of Adam, the only stimulating experience Lilith has ever had with him was a simple kiss.
Raziel just revealed a critical and potentially devastating piece of information with the tone of a calm and collected businesswoman.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. She spilled the beans the other day during a drunken stupor.
Shut up, okay? Just shut up! I demand you forget that immediately!
I can practically hear history crumbling to dust. Lilith rewarded my quiet soliloquy with a painful kick to the thigh.
Baby's back.
My one true confidant, you've no idea how much I truly understand how you must feel.
Hey now, Sorami! For that starstruck gaze! Seriously! Stop it! Stop looking at me with those eyes! I'm begging you!
Tell me why you came to me. If I'm not mistaken, you're Tendo Setsuno, correct? I've sensed something odd about you ever since we first met. You're more than just an average human. Lilith, you think he'll be fine?
Camael directed his question at Lilith.
Sure, he's pretty powerful, you know? Like, monstrously so. In fact, he's the one that beat Gethel.
I wasn't asking about his skill in combat. Plenty of other students here at Pandora fit that bill.
And that only leads them down a path to madness, doesn't it?
The atmosphere turned sour in seconds as an air of melancholy, pregnant not with hatred and malicious intent, but grief, descended upon the room.
Well...
No pilgrimages on record have ever made it past the fourth stratum of Tokyo Babel's total of 7. What's more, we lost contact with each and every pilgrim who managed to travel that far. They were all pretty strong, too.
With angels and demons accompanying them as bodyguards, no less.
Exactly. Yet none of them returned. Be it humans, angels, or demons, madness doesn't discriminate, you know. Which is why we need Tendo Setsuno's help. Our very own one-man army.
We still have Adam on our side, though.
Adam?
Oh, I do have high hopes for him, sure. He's a hero you angels built yourselves, after all. I'm still placing my bets on Setsuna, though.
The hero, huh? Two of us sounded similar, yet hopelessly distant at the same time. I was no valiant knight or hero to be sung of in ballads, nor a villain to be defeated. I was no warrior or sorcerer. I was neither layman nor monarch. Which is why I felt somewhat envious of him.
I see. Well, both the decision and responsibility lie with you.
Oh, I'm aware of that. By the way, how many pilgrims do we have on record whose deaths have yet to be confirmed?
Why would you need such information?
Lilith lightly tapped Sorami on the shoulder.
We're gonna do a little
Kyle! We're gonna do a little inspection of our own.
What was she planning?
I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna do a little inspection of my own.
Sorami was quick to adapt, as usual. Almost abnormally so, in fact.
I'm sleepy.
Raziel began to nod off. Lilith took Camael's list and brusquely set out with Sorami at her side, intent on checking every single classroom.
I'm too sleepy. Cannot function.
Meanwhile, Raziel had been left behind by the rest, lay down in the middle of the hallway to sleep. By my confusion, I thought it was appropriate to at least bring her back to our place. Picked her up, carried her back to the night duty room. After tucking her in a blanket, I gazed at Raziel's peaceful features as she slept, seemingly exhausted. I stared under the sheets, uttering something barely audible, unable to suppress my curiosity. I leaned in closer, hoping to make out the words.
It's my book.
Her book. The very same tome she had been searching for. Safe for Raziel. A sacred grimoire containing all the knowledge of Earth and Heavens alike once handed to Adam, the first man. Following his death, the book was passed on to Enoch, and later to Noah. After Noah went to Abraham, Jacob, Moses, and Joshua, and finally to King Solomon, who commanded 72 demons. Raziel's eyes shot open, gazing deep into mine. Raziel glared at me, frowning. A few seconds later, though, she appeared to have realized something.
Are you, by any chance, making your nightly visit?
Absolutely not. Besides, in the middle of the day. That's hardly an issue either. I just set the record straight.
I'm an angel. You're a human, or something close to one, at any rate. We're from different caste. Our love would be doomed from the get-go.
More like we're entirely different species. Raziel appeared thoroughly displeased by her response.
But that's not romantic.
Being different castes is...
It'd be like a fairy tale.
Is that so?
It is. By the way, why is your face so close to mine?
Ah, right. I was interested in what you were talking about in your sleep. Raziel's confused gaze made me realize I should have gone into more detail in my explanation. You are searching for the receipt for Raziel, correct?
Oh, you knew? Yes, that is correct.
According to the records I studied, no one knows where the book ended up after King Solomon.
It's nowhere to be found anywhere in all the parallel worlds. I'm confident that book holds the information we need to reach heaven.
How's that possible? Wasn't it written over 2,000 years ago?
When it was written, matters little. The book contains all the knowledge of creation. Even our current predicament is no doubt recorded as a pre-existing calamity.
So is it sort of like a book of prophecies? To my genuine surprise, Raziel shook her head, refuting my suggestion.
It's similar but different. A prophecy predicts something to happen in the world from a number of existing phenomena. I don't predict anything. I merely recorded all possibilities.
Did you not run out of pages very quickly that way?
I write everything using a self-invented system of compressing text. So space shouldn't be a problem, I think. Well, I suppose I did fail to account for the book consequently becoming unreadable to any other angel beside myself.
She was a klutz. Our first impression of her could be summed up with that one silly word.
It would mean a lot to me if you could be on the lookout for my book during your pilgrimage.
I'll keep an eye out for it. By the way, what sort of book are we looking for? Knowing its size, thickness, and outward appearance would help the search considerably.
It's big enough for me to wrap my arms around it. Roughly a meter, I suppose. Its thickness is about 15 centimeters, and it's divided into 2 volumes. One is brown, the other...
Raziel took a few moments to think.
I can't seem to remember.
How did she forget the color of a book she herself penned? Couldn't help but let out a sigh. Should not consider digitalizing it? Raziel promptedly nodded in response.
Once we find it, I plan on taking the necessary steps to have it turned into an ebook.
Quite possibly the rarest document in existence, a tome containing all divine knowledge since creation, divided into 1,500 items, penned by Raziel and the angels in the e-book format. I wonder just how many hard drives she would need to store all that information. I know I just brought up the idea myself a moment ago, but having the e-book version might not work out after all.
It might not look as cool as an ebook, but you should also consider it's not exactly easy lugging that thing around in its physical form.
True.
I'll prepare a reward for you in the event that we find the book.
Might not be necessary. I tend to look for it either way.
Don't you want an apple, maybe? There should be plenty in heaven around this time.
I'm ordering clothes. I needed more knowledge than that, thank you.
Aw, but we produce them with selective breeding, so they're really delicious.
Raziel hung her head, a tone heavy with dejection. I decided to apologize, realizing I've been inconsiderate. Well, I suppose in that case, could not hurt to try one.
Thanks.
She nodded gleefully just as our two resident busybodies returned from their expedition.
Yoo-hoo! Ladies and gents, we're back with a vengeance.
I'm so beat. Totally and utterly beat. Damn. I didn't know the concept of fatigue existed in Tokyo Babel, too.
It had been a busy day, but by the end of it, we all regrouped the night duty room. Raziel looked like she was ready to doze off at any second, though.
I feel like my eyes are about to fall out of their sockets. Setsuna, do you guys keep eye drops around here?
Thoroughly exhausted, Sorami threw herself on top of a top-to-me mat. Having to continuously use her powers during the day was a place of considerable burden on her. As for the eye drops, I do not think we do. Sorry.
Oh dear. Raziel, you got any eye drops? The kind for humans, I mean. Not the one for angels or demons.
I only have the angel variety, I'm afraid. Won't that do?
Yeah, I have a feeling my poor mortal eyes won't be able to handle those divine drops.
Remember, your eyes are now Gethels, so feel free to take the angel drops. They'll be fine. By the way, I have the demon kind right here with me.
Lilith reached into her pocket, produced a vial filled with a vivid, Cove blue liquid. It felt like the kind of thing that could easily set up a Geiger counter just by being in its vicinity.
See? It doesn't look very inviting to a human like you, right?
Yeah, I prefer not to have that thing anywhere near my eyes. Ever.
Sorami let out a nervous laugh while pouring a white, faintly glittering drop of the angel medicine into her eyes.
Gosh, this kicks in right away.
Should avoid excessive blinking.
I'm so tired. I'm hungry.
Guess it's that time already. I'll go grab something from the cafeteria. What do you guys want?
Anything we do. However, if at all possible, I prefer liquid nutrients. I have no idea whether or not they even had those here, though.
I'd like an apple pie and some morning black tea. And 3 apples, if they have any.
For me? Well, at this hour, anything edible will do. But I'd like some herb tea to go with it. Pretty please?
Gotcha. Be back in a minute.
Just like that, she casually left the room. Literally a minute later.
I'm back!
That was fast.
Lilith strolled in, nonchalantly dropping 4 plastic bags she had been carrying onto the floor.
Thankies!
Much appreciated.
Wow, a strawberry sandwich. Yummers.
My bag similarly contains something to meet my needs. 3,000 calorie pack of highly concentration liquid nutrients. Gulp the whole thing down in one gulp. Thus compelling when completing my nutritional intake for the day. Sorami is still busy, happily wolfing down her sandwiches. In the meantime, Raziel carefully nibbled away at her apple pie at a steady pace, her expression awash with joy and fulfillment.
Phew.
Having finished the last drop of her tea, Sorami exhaled a drawn-out sigh.
I gotta hand it to you, Sorami. You're taking this whole situation really well for someone who kinda just got caught up in the middle of it all.
Oh, you think so?
To be entirely frank, we are in a situation that most people would simply dismiss as a bad dream to protect their sanity. Sorami's rebutted my words with a bold declaration of her own.
Screw that, I want to live in the present. Well, I mean, I did lose all my memories of both family and friends, but still.
Despite that, Sorami's laughter was as cheery as ever. I wasn't sure if I should call it strength of will, or perhaps she simply transcended such worries. At least that's the impression I got.
Either way, I'm glad you're being optimistic about it.
Now the relief has made me sleepy all of a sudden.
Sorami, shall we prepare our futons? Simply wave her hands my way.
Please do.
I took the futons to the nearby closet and spread them out across the floor, after which Lilith helped Sorami roll under the sheets.
So fluffy.
Glad to hear that. Well, you've had a long day, so do get some rest.
But what if I wake up to find that this was all a dream?
Count yourself lucky, maybe?
I'm not so sure. I might run into another weirdo trying to kill me.
Worry not, if that does come to pass. I will be there to save you.
Huh?
We go to your aid again. As such, you not worry yourself. Sorami stared at me round-eyed for a few brief seconds, and pulled her blankets up to her face, nothing but barely audible. Thanks. In the next moment, Lilith flashed a deeply disturbing smile.
Grinity, grin.
I really do not think there's a need to actually pronounce that word like you just did.
Watching Sorami go to bed has made me sleepy too.
Alright, nighty-night, Raziel.
Raziel nodded, then buried herself under a layer of thick blankets. She left me and Lilith as the only one still on their feet.
Aren't you gonna sleep, Setsuna?
I do not sleep, it's for the weak. More specifically, due to actually need to sleep. Excluding times of emergency, my body, mind, and nerves were always in a state of rest. Partial sleep would be the one way to describe it. I was very much capable of sleep, naturally, but I could also technically sit there, wait for the morning to come, if I so desired.
Well, I'm not called the Witch of the Night just for show, so I don't particularly need sleep all that much either.
Lilith rose to her feet, changing back to her usual attire in a blink of an eye, she then gestured towards me with a smile.
How about a little trip to the roof? Just the two of us.
There's something to see up there?
Maybe. Maybe not.
Accompanied by an ominous chuckle, Lilith extended a hand towards me, which, following a moment's hesitation, I ultimately took. After carefully closing the window Lilith had left open as she leapt out into the night, I too took to the skies in pursuit. Pandora's exterior was that of an average school building, with one notable exception: its height. A quick glance would estimate the structure to be around 4 or 5 stories tall at most, yet reaching the rooftop took considerably more time than such a height would normally entail, almost as if the floor simply continued on in an endless loop. Still, never once broke my flight, knowing very well that I would eventually reach the rooftop.
Hey you, make sure to properly visualize the rooftop in your mind, otherwise you'll just keep going in an endless loop.
Never reach the end unless I do that? No wonder the building felt somewhat bigger than I expected. If it did house 100 million people.
Yep, the laws of physics don't exactly work here the way you might expect. Things just go on without end, unless an outside observer wills it otherwise.
With that, I was able to clearly visualize the end through a simple act of calculation. I carefully determined the approximate height of the academic campus fit to accommodate 100 million people. Whether or not my calculation was correct did not matter, though I myself was confident in my results. What did matter was the establishment of a set distance, the specific end point to be reached. Cutting my way through the dense, freshly accumulated fog. I successfully made my way towards the roof.
Visualization complete. Right then.
Lay on the rooftop around the same time as Lilith. I'd taken in my surroundings. The place looked awfully ordinary for a building housing roughly 100 million people. The only difference to note was the lack of any city lights to be seen in the distance. Lilith promptly hopped atop the rooftop fence, even point to such a thing in a place like this, making herself comfortable. Fabricated stars glittered upon the canvas of a makeshift sky as seemingly altered locations.
Allow me to once again congratulate you on the job well done. Not only did you defeat the maddened Gethel, you also succeeded in rescuing Kugutsu Sorami.
I simply acted upon your orders.
That you did. And I'll have you keep on doing that until the day you lack even the strength to stand. Don't you worry.
I nodded. I'm glad we have an understanding. An embarrassed giggle left Lilith's lips.
It'd be great if you could at least level a complaint or two at me, you know.
I'm in no position to do such a thing. My life and world had long since been consumed by fire. I care not how the remainder of my existence was put to use.
I see. Either way, Setsuna, mind if I ask you something?
Go ahead.
Your world could not be saved. It was reduced to dust. Yet here you are, staking your life to save another, all on my orders.
That is correct.
Do you ever resent you in your life?
Not particularly. Never felt that way, nor did it ever cross my mind to do so. I was born and raised for the sake of man, a group I ultimately betrayed. I chose to live for myself, and thus caused the deaths of millions. Committing a grave sin, as such the remainder of my life, if it could even be called such, held no value to me whatsoever. Consequently, I longed to find a person who would make use of it to further their own ends. In my case, it ended up being a demon, though. If I am able to help someone, I will help them. At this point, it matters little to me if they're angels, demons, or people from alternate worlds. As long as people are in need of aid, I would be there to save them. As long as I had adversaries to face, I would be there to stop them. In that road was paved with carnage and death, even my fate was to be abandoned and discarded. Or still press on.
I see. Oh, is it me, or did you sound somewhat different just now?
I slipped up. You're imagining things. Lilith looked at me with a mischievous gaze of a child who just come up with the perfect prank. And a bad feeling about this.
I'm not. Nope. Oh, I heard you clear as day. I totally did.
Must have heard something wrong, but I changed my tone one bit. Following a few seconds of silent contemplation, Lilith once again turned towards me.
Wait, could it be that you force yourself to speak a certain way so it doesn't, make you sound too timid? Is that it?
I evaded her gaze, yet the very action ended up confirming her suspicions. Someone once told me
What?
that I should always sound firm and resolute, so that people do not think me a weakling.
Well, I guess that would make sense, considering the way you've been raised. Honestly though, it really doesn't suit you, now does it?
Leave me alone.
Aw, you're sulking.
I'm not. Lilith flashed another smile. I felt thoroughly exposed, almost like she could see right into the depths of my heart. Lilith began to casually dangle her legs atop the fence.
Let me think. Was there anything else we needed to discuss? Oh, right. What do you think of Sorami?
She is a peculiar girl, I think. In all honesty, I thought the word fitted perfectly.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that one. Gethel summoned one hell of a gal, that's for sure.
She could not soar the skies or dash faster than the speed of sound. nor does she possess the kind of strength that could tear comets asunder. Which was exactly what made her peculiar. She was still alive, living in these hellish times like nothing had happened, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Would I be able to do that? I had power, certainly. If not, would I be able to keep my sanity intact?
Which reminds me, make sure to treat Sorami nice, alright? Be her knight in shining armor, basically.
Huh? I looked at her in confusion. What's this woman, no, demon, thinking?
I'm sure Sorami must be a bit on edge, so you gotta make sure to flash the most dazzling of princely smiles to put her at ease.
Dazzling, princely smile? I have a feeling that would only unsettle her.
Maybe, but I'm positively dying to see you like that. It'd be a riot.
You're being dead serious with me, are you not? Well, I'm not exactly the most emotive of people, that much is true. And again, considering my circumstances, it should come as no surprise.
Hey, don't you give up on me. Why don't you try smiling at me now? Just for fun, you know?
I attempted to flash a beaming smile at her to the best of my abilities.
That sure was creepy.
That criticism was too harsh. Was it not you who wanted me to do it, though?
The way you smile sort of gives me the chills, you know? Try to make it beam with energy, like you were a pop star.
Huh? Though I wasn't exactly sure how a smile could beam with energy like a pop star's, I nonetheless concluded that a wide, cheery smile would be appropriate here. Alright, here we go. Like BTS. I got all my willpower. I flashed the best smile I could possibly muster. I was not sure what to make of Lilith's explosive guffle.
Again, do it again. I'm begging you. I won't laugh this time. I promise. Scout's honor.
I'm not doing it again. Give her a stubbornly firm refusal.
Aw, I should have recorded it. Anyway, sun's almost up. You better head back.
Understood. Let's hop off the fence in one swift move.
Later.
And she was gone, leaving me with nothing but that quick, carefree phrase. Either way, I could easily find my way back home. Huh? I turned around, Holly suddenly felt a presence from behind. I come face to face with a young girl, standing just a few centimeters away from me. She simply stood in place, acting like nothing was amiss. What? The fact that I had been unable to pick up her presence, despite how close she was, left me in complete shock. Her appearance was that of a young girl, no older than 12 or 13. If Tokyo Babel had taught me anything, it was that looks could be deceiving. Golden locks, seemingly natural, not dyed, balanced band, and a white blue apron dress. A necklace with a winged serpent motif hung from her neck. Its glint an eerie contrast to her otherwise everyday attire. I laughed, ridiculed, mocked, belittled. Still, that alone did not unequivocally establish her as a foe. After all, even I would have an ample reason to mock me. The correct question remained: who was she, exactly?
So, you're Lilith's little plaything.
I questioned that peculiar choice of words, but putting that aside for a moment, you're right that it was Lilith who summoned me here.
Oh, I see. So you are her plaything.
A cheerful giggle escaped her lips as I stood there, uncertain whether or not she paid attention to what I just said. Anyway, mind explaining who you are?
Me? Let's see. You tell me, mister. Who am I?
She once again giggled, clearly taking me for a fool. This appeared to be her usual style, in which case there was little reason to let it get to me. But the mystery of her identity remains unsolved. Are you an angel? Or a demon, perhaps?
I used to be an angel, but now I guess I'm closer to a demon.
A so-called fallen angel. Then again, Lilith was no angel either, but fallen all the same. Left only a few other options, judging by the serpent-shaped necklace and the way she spoke. After performing a quick search, I got a number of hints, that the most likely candidate spoke the name out loud. The angel of venom and death, the serpent who once tempted Adam and Eve in paradise, Samael.
Correct! Maybe a little kissing suffices as a reward.
We have to respectfully decline. I treated to fill steps and could have feel a wire fence pressing against my back. Samael kept observing my every move, her wicked smile growing broader with every passing second. Well, no matter. She could look down on me all she wanted. I'd be considered small fry than a genuine threat.
So, do you want to go to heaven too?
Not particularly. However, some of my peers would be greatly inconvenienced should the gates remain sealed. As such, it is not a problem I can easily ignore.
So they're inconvenienced. What of it? Just leave them be and embrace your inevitable destruction together. Wouldn't that be way more fun?
You harbor self-destructive impulses. That is your own business. Will not stand in your way. To involve those not sharing such ambitions. I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Oh, but that's boring. I'd be far more grand to have everyone partake in complete annihilation together.
It would place me in a difficult position.
That's exactly the point.
The girl thrust her tongue at me, this vivid red shape coiling about like a serpent's.
Well, whatever. I only came to introduce myself. For now.
For now? Which meant she would eventually have other plans.
Yep. I wanted to meet the person who ended up piquing Lilith's interest to this extent.
In other words, it came just to satisfy your own curiosity.
Tendo Setsuna, was it? I have something to ask you.
So do I.
Oh, I'll start then. So, do you have any interest whatsoever in God?
As long as I'm here in Tokyo Babel, it goes without saying.
Sorry, let me rephrase that. Have you ever considered becoming a god yourself?
Something deep within the very core of my heart stirred to life, jolted awake by her words. Never. Not once.
Oh, but this is God we're talking about. God. The one and only omnipotent supreme being. Do you seriously have no interest in any of that?
I do not. Anyway, it is time for my question. Are Astaroth, Camael, and Lilith aware of your presence here?
And what exactly do you mean by being aware?
Slowly ball my right hand to her fist, switching to combat mode by analyzing all potential methods of dealing with the present situation. Naturally, I mean the fact that your ambitions are in sharp contrast with the collective goals of every human, angel, and demon currently residing here at Tokyo Babel.
Huh? Oh, I don't know. I'm not really good at thinking about complex stuff.
It's all the more cause for worry.
What do you think?
Samael lifted into the air, her shape distorting for a second. You're to stay in my way.
What then?
Heard a faint whisper right next to my ear, and time took me to glance up. Samael was already standing next to me. He peered into my eyes, her gaze filled with curiosity, as she leaned in on the nearby fence. Having no doubt sensed my distress, Samael's lips curved into the satisfied smile of a successful prankster. I see no other way than to dispose of you.
Oh, look at me, quaking in my boots. We don't need another guy with short-fused personality around here. Belial's more than enough on his own.
Floating Samael removed her necktie and threw it into the concrete floor below. A moment later, a colossal multi-legged serpent materialized before me from a flash of blinding light, his body an otherworldly fusion of liquid, lizard, and centipede. A glowing pattern set upon the beast's forehead like a crown. Could this creature be?
Say hi to my pet Risky. He's got plenty of legs, so don't even think about trying to outrun him.
The Serpent King, Basilisk? Left aside almost immediately to escape the beast's field of vision, but I was too slow. But my tired body buckled under a tremendous amount of pressure. Whoever the basilisk's gaze fell upon would gradually be petrified. One did not actually need to make eye contact with the creature for the process to begin. I swiftly worked out the necessary countermeasures and ordered my body to produce the appropriate antibody. Extracting genetic information from my skin, muscle, and blood, all undergo rapid petrification as they defy the process via the nanomachines in my bloodstream. Petrification advanced faster than I anticipated. My entire body was gradually solidifying with an unpleasant cracking sound accompanying the process.
See you later, up here. Well, either that or you'll just die here.
Samuel mounted her basilisk like a seed and took to the skies, leaving the rooftop. Thought of pursuing them crossed my mind for a split second, but ultimately I decided against it, but then to catch up to them, even with a healed body at full speed. I diverted all remaining energy I had left to heal myself. My muscles had solidified into a mass hard as rock. The state of it resembled the symptoms of a certain existing illness, yet the speed of the entire process was abnormally high. However, close resemblance meant that treatment would also be similar. I promptly began producing medical antibodies through my nanomachines. Oppressive feeling that kept my body locked in place began to gradually let up. By the time I could move my fingers again, I completely reversed the petrification process. Still, that was not an experience I cared to live through ever again. As I made my way to the top of the fence, looked back over the deserted rooftop, a certain thought came to me. We protect the humans, guide the angels back to heaven, allow the demons to return to hell. All to join hands at one to make that happen. With our only enemies being the maddened masters. My sights set on that one. In a way, it's a fairly simple mission, yet considering the sheer amount of power players that assembled here, one could hardly be surprised at an inevitable emergence of forces harboring differing ambitions. Even on the brink of the apocalypse, there existed those who would willingly press the launch button for a nuclear missile, guided by calmly calculated intentions rooted in reason and logic. Problems emerged, however, when that very logic was distorted at its core. I kept flying, or rather, let myself fall, downward while visualizing an image of the first floor in my mind. As I began approaching ground level, I resumed my flight, and opened a window and landed safely in a hallway.
Hey, what took you so long?